So you're probably wondering, if you clicked on this video, why do my images look like this? There's probably a few reasons for that, but let's get off with the first things. The first thing I want to talk about is having the right equipment. Now, I'm not talking about having expensive equipment necessarily, I'm talking about having the right equipment. So the difference between expensive equipment and the right equipment is expensive equipment, well, is just expensive. I mean, it's literally equipment that costs a lot of money, that might not be the correct gear and can still give you crappy images. Like, for example, if you have a cheap DSLR and a really expensive telescope and a tripod for the mount, that is a bad setup. Because obviously the mount's the most important thing if you have the budget for it, obviously. If you don't have the budget for a mount, a good solid tripod and a good DSLR with a good lens is likely the best route to go. I would say the most important factor when you're starting out is get the right equipment, meaning like get a good mount, and especially another thing I would like to say is get a good lens, because I found that my lens that I had for the Canon T7 actually didn't do very well. This is when I had a Canon T7 set up with the 75 to 300 millimeter lens. It was a kit lens that came with the camera. It was like a special bundle or something off like Target or something when I was new. But it wasn't a good lens at all, because you see these like blue halos around the edge of the stars, and it doesn't look very good, as you can probably see. But, you know, as astrophotographers like to nitpick everything, but, you know, it's not something that's pleasing to the eye. One of the larger factors in getting good images in astrophotography is probably, I'd say, definitely camera settings. For example, I went to the Black Forest Star Party quite a while back. I think it was back in September. Yeah, definitely back in September. So I went to the Black Forest Star Party, and I got this image of triangulum, right? And you know, I've captured triangulum at home before in my lake polluted city backyard. But, or it's actually suburban, but whatever, who cares? It's still the same thing, basically. So I captured triangulum, right? And the stars were all bloated, blown out, couldn't fix it in post. This is why camera settings are so important. I use an ISO 6400 because it was so dim there. I should have probably turned up exposure, like the exposure time, and try to do it that way, or at least have my ISO lower at least, and then, you know, take more images. But that was not a good idea by any means, turning up to 6400 in a dark site, because it bloated the stars, blew out everything. It looked terrible, actually. Couldn't fix it. Even the galaxy was kind of blurry, and it could have been bad seeing, but I doubt it, because my Milky Way image I got from there was brilliant. I mean, compared to that image sucked, in my opinion. So, you know, astrophotographers like to nitpick, as I already said, but still. I think another big factor in astrophotography is definitely processing. I know I mentioned this in previous videos, but astrophotography processing is huge. If you don't know how to process your images, well, it's not going to turn out great like you wanted. Because especially, I know I emphasize this a lot, processing is pretty much 60%. I've heard someone else say that, but 60% of the process in astrophotography. I can't remember who said that, I forget. But I actually agree with that, so that's why I'm saying that. It's a pretty big realm in astrophotography, the processing realm, because if you process an image badly, like for example, if you were processing your images in Photoshop or something, and your images turn out like this, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't look very good. Well, it's also because maybe you overstretched it. Maybe you turned up saturation too much. Maybe you, you know, didn't remove the background correctly. Who knows what it could be? But processing is very important, because that can determine the entire result of your image. But anyway, my name is Asher, and if you enjoy astrophotography, also the astrophotography content like tips and tricks on how to become a better astrophotographer, well, this channel is good for you. So make sure to subscribe to my channel to keep up with my latest content. Oh, and by the way, if you want to learn how to get better images of the Orion Nebula, or any image in general that's related to deep sky, well, this video will surely help you. Definitely help you get better images of the Orion Nebula, and I'll also show you the process on how I got an image like this. Anyways, until next time, clear skies. Hope you enjoyed this video.